All right. We are live. There we go. How's it going, folks? Talking about sleep versus consume today. Hang on. What is in the shop? What is happening? What are we doing? Okay, it's just a little bit. There we go. All right. So we're talking about sleep versus consume. Talking about the two animals that are attached to DI, which means that I get to wear a bathrobe. Part of this is that I just really want to wear a bathrobe and I feel very comfortable and very snuggly. But there is a practical reason for this. And that practical reason is sleep and consume are my two demons. Look, obviously, if I'm talking about blast and play, that's a thing I can talk about for days, right? Even play versus consume, I'm like, all right, I got the double activated SE. I kind of get how it works. We can talk about it without a lot of effort, right? But if we're talking about sleep and consume together, now we're talking about both of my demon functions. And like, I just need the extra help to get me into this sleep consume feeling state before I actually talk about it. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to like make a video that's talking about sleep and consume with any sort of negativity, with any sort of bias, with any sort of, I know it's hard to slow down and take time for yourself. But like, there are lots of people who are like, of course you take time. That's obvious. Obviously, do whatever the fuck you want. That's why we're on this planet, right? So I put on the robe. I didn't wear didn't put in the contacts. I'm not wearing the hat. Like, I'm not doing any of my typical DE centric get the tribe to like me kind of behaviors, so that I can really tap into just this is DI. This works for me. This feels good to me. This is comfortable to me. Energy. And I think for sleep consume and consume sleep, they call them the mopes. I don't know that I love that term, but I get it. And I get it because and what it comes down to for me is that it tends to be helpful to think of consume as a fundamentally introverted animal. And that is something that I am still kind of trying to wrap my head around, but I get it. Because, obviously there is a spectrum of introversion and extroversion. Play is this very clearly extroverted thing because you're pinging off of the tribe and you're gathering. Sleep is a very clearly introverted animal because you are not looking to go outside of your box and you don't care about answering to anybody else, right? So when you're on those two extremes, you're dealing with an introverted function and an extroverted function working together. In the case of blast, it's your OI and your DE. In the case of consume, it's your OE and your DI. And so the question is, okay, well, if we have to look for a binary coin and, the sort of balance comes from duality, which one trumps? And because we've talked about this in other videos, so I'm going to sort of gloss through it. Pain trumps fear, right? Decider issues are painful. Observer issues are scary because it's about fear of the unknown, but the decider issues are like pain of identity, connecting with others. It's why fucking 90% of pop songs are about love and not about, like, a song like Imagine, the John Lennon song. There aren't a lot there aren't a lot of songs like that. And even that one has a little bit of a decidery bent to it, especially in the chorus, right? You may say, I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. The world will live as one. Like he's making it a tribe problem. It isn't just this abstract, imagine there's no heaven. Like that's not the punchline, right? The punchline is, and the world will live as one, right? The tribe self connection. So as a result, when we're talking about introversion and extroversion, I think the decider trumps. So Blast will end up being a more extroverted animal in its purest form because it is attached to, or rather, there is the extroverted decider is what's attached to it, whereas Consume is going to end up being a little more introverted because it is the introverted decider that's attached to it. So I get why they call Consume Sleep and Sleep the mopes, because it can feel very unwilling to ping off of others. As far as like the different animal pairs go, it has been my observation, and I don't have any science or empirical evidence to back this up. This is just an observation, something I've noticed over the past 2.5 years. I think when we're talking about play blast versus blast play, I think there's a difference. I think there's a substantial difference, because you're talking about like, are you gathering new shit all the time, or are you wanting to stay in your box and just bark orders at people and tell everybody what to do, right? With play and consume, I think that in that last video, I think we saw that there is, having consume over play or play over consume. I think that can make a pretty big difference, again, because we're talking about, the tribe being, are you pinging off the tribe or are you not? And even honestly, Blast versus Sleep, are you pinging off the tribe or are you not? I think you can tell a difference, right? What's weird about Sleep Consume and Consume Sleep is that because neither of those two functions give a fuck about the outside world insofar as the tribe goes, right? It may want to go and discover new things and go out into the environment, but because it's not looking for that tribe connection, tribe validation, tribe pingingness, it can feel like the order doesn't matter. I'm honestly still on the fence. Again, these are both animal. Both of these animals are my demons. I am still as much as anybody in the process of really figuring these two out, really disentangling them from each other, and also just for my own self, being really cognizant, more so than usual, about like, okay, when I'm doing this activity, what muscles am I really working out, right? And I think that's really relevant, right? So both consume and sleep are attached to the introverted decider. We care about identity above tribe, right? It is, I would rather be authentic than to connect with others. And it's like, yeah, I'll take care of that on the back end, right? And just as like a little bit of a side note, that's one thing that I've become aware of pretty recently about like savior versus demon. I don't think, look, and especially if you're an adult and have like, I don't know, any amount of experience of life under your belt, it's not always going to manifest as this tantrumy, I don't wanna do it. Fortunately, I think that a lot of that rhetoric has gone away in the last 6 months, last year or so. But I understand where it came from to begin with, right? Because the first people that they were typing, they basically just typed YouTubers without realizing, like, they're very, very savvy in a lot of ways, Dave and Shannon are. When it comes to psychology, human nature, technology, social media, right? Like they're very, very savvy about that. I don't think that they are as media savvy in terms of understanding like these people know, like these people are very savvy in some ways and they know what to leverage to get views. So they're going to play up the most extreme versions of themselves in any situation, right? So you're seeing a lack of responsibility, a tantruminess, because it's exciting, right? It's childish, it's immature, it gets people riled up, right? It's partially a marketing, it's an authentic marketing tool, for sure. And I do think that they are able to successfully type YouTubers based on a library of YouTube videos. But it is a little exaggerated and not really applicable. And it's a little bit of a straw man to be like, everybody's a tantrumy asshole about their demons. No, we are not. If you're even a little bit adult, you're just not going to do that because the world doesn't let you tantrum. It just kind of doesn't. But what it will do is it's the sort of thing where it's like, all right, I'll take care of that later. It's like it's a putting off. It's a, let me be deliberate about how I approach this. Let me be deliberate about how I schedule this. Let me be deliberate about how I go out and gather, like whatever it is, right? It's not going to be always this like foot stomping business, but it's like a thing that you don't really want to do. And that in varying degrees, you're like, you know what, it'll just take care of itself, right? Or I'll take care of it later. I don't want to. Like, it's the pile of laundry that I just haven't put away yet. Like, I'm gonna probably, and if I don't, it's kind of not the end of the world, but like, I know I should. Like, that I think is what you're gonna see a lot more with demons in a lot of people, right? Because what I just said, right? The like, yeah, there's the pile of laundry, but like, I don't really wanna. It's not the end of the world. That's not gonna get views. No one. That's not exciting, right? So that's why I think that in a lot of the earlier videos they didn't see a more balanced view, and now they are, right? And now they're like, oh, people are fundamentally taking responsibility for their demons, but they're still demons and we can still track it, right? So sleep versus consume, after all of that fucking preamble, sleep versus consume. It's a matter of starting with yourself and your identity and like, this is what is right for me. This is what works for me. I don't give a shit if the other tribe members are on board or not. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm not even looking to ping off of anybody else, right? So then the question is, okay, great, we got that. What's the next layer, right? If you're like, you got the identity thing, cool. What are you putting off? Are you putting off the organizing part, or are you putting off the gathering part, right? So somebody who is a sleep consume is going to be like, all right, we're locked into the identity. The identity comes first. We're doing the thing. And then, all right, so are we going to, are we going to spend our time organizing everything first and then saying, okay, once this is organized, then I can go out and gather because I know what I'm going to be gathering. I can bring in the new, I can go out and gather in a very deliberate, a very specific way. Or are they putting off the organizing part because what they want to do is like, look, I know what I like. I know what I want to do. I just want to go out and explore. And then depending on what I gather, now I have something to, now I know how it's going to be organized. I can't put together an organization plan if I don't know what the fuck it is I'm trying to organize, right? Whereas the sleep lead is like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to gather if I don't know what the holes in my box are. So I weirdly fall into a similar trap. Not that I am sleep consumed by any stretch of the imagination, but when I do go into sleep consume mode, my first impulse, weirdly, is to organize. Even though my last animal is sleep, if I'm taking blast and play out of the equation, and I'm just, playing the INTJ sleep consume card, right? If I'm playing that game for a little bit, I'm like, well, fuck. Okay, Jesus. I don't want to do either of these things, but if I have to do one first, yeah, at least let me try to use my first function rather than my last function. That seems a little easier, right? So when you're doing sleep before consume, the impulse is to go, okay, I don't want to go gather. I will do it if I must. I know that people want me to do it. I'm not terrible at doing it, but like, it is effort, it is work. It's like a thing. It's a whole thing writ large, capital T, right? So when I have to go out and gather, my first impulse is to be like, okay, stop. Let's see what we need to gather, right? What needs gathering? Okay. I can use a really dumb example. This is, if you're overthinking this particular activity to this extent, stop. It does not require this much effort, even in times of COVID. So let's say I'm going to the grocery store, right? We're going to the grocery store. The anecdotal sleep over consume is going to be like, okay, I don't want to go to the grocery store. I have to go to the grocery store. I'm literally running out of food. Okay, so what do I actually need? Because I don't, so like the other day, so one thing that I will do in these trying times where we're not supposed to like go out and mosey around, I'm very deliberate about what I go to the grocery store to get. And I try to, so I'm always like, all right, this is what I need. But if I see something that I know that I can freeze or store, I'll just pick it up. And what I'll do is I'll be like, so there's a thing that they have at Kroger, and they are, it's this like big ass rack of ribs, like a, 13-inch rack of ribs for like $15. And it's pre-seasoned. It's in the bag. You literally cut a hole in the bag and then stick it in the oven for an hour. And I'm like, oh, wow, I have ribs for 4 days. Cool. So those sell out medium quickly, depending. God, especially now, right? But what I'll do is, let's say, like I have one in my freezer right now. I don't need to cook it. It's just hanging out there. I picked up some drumsticks yesterday, so I'm working through those. I got some beef, right? We're mixing it up. We're doing the things. But eventually, when on one of my sojourns to Ralph's, I'll see these, if they have one in stock, I'll just pick one up, right? And I'll put it in the freezer and store it there. I bring that up because gathering that fits into my NI sleep box, right? I tend to get not the same food because again, my NI box is like, no, you need variety. You cannot eat chicken for 3 meals in a day. You can't do it, right? You gotta, put some beef, put some lamb, and got the chicken, get some salmon, get some tuna, get some vegetable, right? You gotta mix it up. But I'm really deliberate about, okay, today when I go out, I'm looking at my refrigerator. Yeah, I'm a little low on the meat. Like I got plenty of the ground beef with vegetables that I made. But man, I don't have any bacon. I don't have any chicken. I don't have any have the ribs. I don't have any fit. Like, I don't have any other meat. So when I go out, I'm not trying to gather fucking everything, right? Because I just got my Brussels sprouts. And I got plenty of frozen peas. And I got plenty of carrots in the refrigerator. Today is a meat day. So we're going to go out and deliberately gather the meat. And okay, if something catches my eye that I feel like picking up and, gathering for myself, cool, great, because I've already fulfilled the obligation to sleep, right? To my NIFI sleep first. Then if I want to pick something else up extra, like that's just great. That's like, yeah, cool, let's throw it in. We're all good. But that's not what I want to do first, right? That's not the priority. Consume over sleep is the other way. Again, anecdotally, take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, just using the grocery store to illustrate an example. If you're going a consume over sleep is going to be like, you know what, let me just go to the grocery store, right? I don't know what the fuck I need. I'll figure it out later. Let me just go and gather shit because I know that I need food. So let me go gather food. And then when I come home, then I will organize it and figure out and like meal prep for the week or do whatever the fuck I want to do. Great. And if I happen to think of, ooh, you need butter, make a deliberate effort to pick up butter. Cool, great, fine. But that's not the priority. The priority is I just want to go out and see what they have. Ooh, they have those rib things today. Yeah, I'm getting it. Ooh, they have the chicken thighs. Oh, they don't have the salmon. Ah, whatever, that's fine. I'll just get the beef instead, right? It's this, I'm not trying, consume over sleep isn't trying to organize first. It's not trying to go in with a plan. If a plan materializes, great, delightful, fantastic. Consume sleep is not opposed to plans. They are only very slightly averse to setting a plan first without knowing what has been gathered, right? And a lot of times what will happen is, consume over sleep. They'll go out and gather and organize on the fly. They're going to be like, I know that I'm out of food. I didn't plan. I just need 100% of food. I need all of the food. Otherwise, I'm eating the last can of tuna in the pantry, and then I'm going to have no food. So I got to get food. Okay, fine. So they're going to go out and start to gather and be like, ooh, I'm kind of vibing the blueberries. Yes, and you know what would go great with blueberries is some walnuts, and here's what I can do. So now that I have the blueberries, and I got the walnuts, now I can get some arugula, and I can put together a little salad, and I don't have salad dressing. Maybe I did, fuck it, I'm just going to grab some salad dressing. I'm going to make that can sort of hang out and sit there. Cool. All right, and then for the meat, I don't know. So if we're living in that kind of world, then maybe like a fish? All right, well, let's see what kind of fish they have. I don't know what kind of fish they have, right? And organically, a plan will materialize around what has been consumed. And somebody who is like an adept consume sleeper person will be able to go back and forth and like, let me grab a couple of items, put together a plan, grab some more items, add that, put together a plan, grab some more, right? They'll go back and forth. But what they're going to do first is they're just going to start by gathering shit. Whereas somebody who is sleep over consume, again, when they're both in the savior state, right? If we're talking about this mope DI-centric archetype, then it's going to be, okay, here's what I need. This is the plan. I'm going to go out and we're going to get some meat. I have taken inventory. I have stock of what's in my refrigerator. I'm good on vegetables. We're just going to get meat. And then when I'm out and about, I'm like, I got the meat. Ooh, I got some ground beef. You know what? I want to see if we can mix it up with some seasoning. Let me get some new seasonings. I think that could be fun. You know what? They have a Cajun thing. You know, I've always wanted to do like a Cajun Brussels sprout thing. All right, great. And now I'm going to go gather the Brussels sprouts, right? You're eventually going to do both. It's just a matter of which one you prefer to do first, all other things being equal. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and tell your friends. We got one more in this Versus series talking about Sleep versus Blast, saving the douchebags for last. I'll see if I can come up with some kind of douchey cost. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Oh, this is going to be good. I'm excited for douchebag day. All right, have a good one, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.